Doo 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 doo. His name is Roadbuster. Boop 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 boop. He's a brown and green truck. Boop boo doo boop boop. Sometimes when I look at him, boop boo doo boop boop, I think baby upchuck. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. This is Tets here, obviously, since you've just seen the introduction, and I've got Roadbuster, which is also obvious because you've just seen the introduction. What we have here is a delightful four-wheel drive trucky thing in slightly putrid colours, which I like. This here is the Takara version, so from now on I'm going to call him Roadbuster-kun. And he comes with no stickers, but he does come with an insignia slapped on the chest there. I quite like the vehicle mode. It's very tough looking. It's got great clearance from the ground and he rolls so nicely like a boom boom. Very nice. For comparison, here's a picture with him next to Springer. And one next to Orion Pax in robot mode. I guess if anything, you could perhaps claim that Roadbuster might need to be a little bit bigger in his vehicle mode, but I quite like it. I mean, it's some kind of armored car trucky thing. It's not too shabby. He's got lots of weapon ports for his copious weapons. And the gimmicks of his weapons is that he has a lot of them. And you can then stick them on various ports like this, or like this, or like this. But, personally, I think they all look a bit crap. I would have much preferred nicer moulded weapons that fitted with the car a little bit better than these things that we got. So, moving on. Let's transform this guy. Okay, are you ready, Roadbuster-kun? Roadbuster, transform! And now that the delightful Roadbuster-kun has transformed into robot mode for us, we can behold the glory. Gotta admit, it's quite a nice looking robot for a Roadbuster. But he does have incredibly large feet, which you'd think would help with his balance, but his heels are friggin' tiny. Just look at the size of them. Whoops, forgot that wheel. Okay, you can kind of angle them back and do a little bit of that to get a bit more sort of back on him there. But it still can be a little bit tricky to get everything a bit right. But he's not too bad. What else? He has these crappy little fake ratchets that I loathe in there. They just drive me nuts. And in his shoulders as well. And you'd think they'd be okay, but my Fall of Cybertron Grimlock has now got super floppy arms because they've broken. Don't work anymore. Yeah, generally, although it looks nice, I think it's a bit of a crap toy in the end, despite everything that my friends have told me otherwise. Point number one, these friggin' wheels. It's so huge. They just don't do anything. Couldn't something have been done? I mean, look at the size of this forearm. It's huge. What else do we have? Ah, yes, this kind of bit here looks kind of cool and very nice and armory, but it gets in the way of his legs, you know. He does have a thigh swivel, but you can only get it up if you pop his chest off. Okay. Boy, haven't heard that before. Weird. Another thing is these bits on his shoulders here. They're designed for putting his little combiney weapons in, which I've already gone on about how I dislike their look, because none of them individually look all that great as weapons, and combined they don't look all that great as weapons either. Right. But these bits are used in transformation, so if you have a look in here, FOD's in there. And the only thing kind of holding it in place is this chest piece when it folds down and it clips in. So you can see you got a fair bit of wobble there. Like that. And then if you plug something in here, just putting like lots of pressure on that shoulder joint. And because all the handles to all his weapons are like at the back of the weapon, just has this ridiculously stupid looking weapon there. I mean, they should have like maybe mid-mounted these here or somewhere, or put those holes in the big backpack there, and it just looks crap. I mean, Jesus. I mean, I do like the fact that he does have all these, so, you know, if you had some nice looking weapons, perhaps, you could kind of chunk them on like this, and he ends up being a bit like Hound from the god-awful Age of Extinction movie, you know, just pulling weapons out of anywhere to keep on going, which would be kind of cool. And, you know, what kind of weapon are you going to stick there? It just looks like ass. Right. On the plus side, though, he's got some super nice light piping. Look at that. I don't even have a lamp behind him here. It's glorious. That is due to him having a clear plastic in the back of his head and just painted on eye visor. Look at that. Just lets in so much light. It's freaking wonderful. I do like that very much. For a Roadbuster, despite his lots of jointage, which is totally a legitimate phrase, he is very limited in his movement. You'll have to do things like that to get his back leg sort of up. Messing around with the knee. Which knee joint should you use there? But it all goes to naught because you can't really do much. Ah, look at that. Hello. Piece of broken plastic. Where the hell did that come from? Well, ladies and gentlemen, don't just do that knee bend like I did, because this little previously fallen off piece of plastic belongs on the back of his knee. Just in there. Have a look there. So, yes. Wow. I am just... Wow. I've got to admit, I'm a little bit shocked by that. Oh my god. Okay. So there we go. So it ends up being fragile and limited in articulation. The arms are pretty good, assuming no plastic comes off over there. However, he's limited by no wrist swivels, despite his huge-ass chunky wrists as well. Head looks nice. And roadbustery. And of course there's the aforementioned light piping. But yeah, I think in the end, I would much prefer it if his multitude of weapons that you could deck him out with were better suited to him. I mean, missile pods are always cool. But this one, if it had just been molded a little bit nicer, so it was like dedicated to going in here in robot mode, I think it would go along better with his lines than just kind of jutting out and sort of getting in the way and things. And it's like same with this gun. It's kind of like, just looks a bit small and weedy in his hands when he's got all this other sort of wear everywhere. I'm sure you can combine them, but then say you have... Let's just quickly make it a quick rifle. So say you pop this baby together like so. And he ends up, can't really hold it in here because it's just too long. And here he ends up just stupid gun. So you end up kind of putting everything into one gun. Well, even then he still can't hold it very well. So you still got... Better than a pig's ass. There we go. How's that? So you end up with something like that, and you pop that on your shoulder, and it's like, you know. I know that's kind of alright, but I would have just much preferred single gun sculpted to look really super awesome, and maybe a bazooka or something. Or if they weren't going to do that, they do a bunch of guns where instead of having random ports down here, you could kind of have them splayed over his back, and he's just like, oh yeah, shove this baby in here, because it's a big friggin' hole here where his feet went during vehicle mode, which admittedly is pretty clever during transformation, isn't used for anything in robot mode, and it annoys me greatly. Yeah, so there you go, Roadbuster. Interesting. Here's a picture of him next to Springer in robot mode. Makes you think he might be a little bit small. Here's a picture of him next to Orion Pax in robot mode. Yeah, I can live with it. And here's a picture of him next to Classics Bebop for no particular reason at all. So I think in the end, we end up with a toy that's not bad, not good, just kind of average. You know, try and avoid the hype. He's got his good points, such as awesome light piping. Roadbuster-kun. After God knows how many years, we get an official Roadbuster. And a pretty decent vehicle mode, which I really dig. But, you know, it's still hampered somewhat by other bits, which is kind of a bit disappointing considering the brilliance of this guy. It's pure sex. And his headmaster pal, although simple, is exactly what it should be, entailing being a good representation of a glorious figure. So, don't buy into the hype. Thanks, Roadbuster-kun. Back to vehicle mode for you, my friend. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the drum solo. Had that specifically made. Bye.